Hi everyone, I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've been insanely busy and hyper focused on improving my photography skills, editing skills, and dealing with everything 2020 has thrown at me. I'm sure y'all can relate. It's been a hell of a year. That being said, a little life update. One of my goals that I set out to do for 2020 was to get published in an equine magazine. I emailed a lot of them, and I'm happy to report I have officially been published not once, not twice, but 3 times in Equine Wellness magazine. If you take a look behind me, I actually set up my green screen so I could do this video today. You can see the photos that were the lucky ones, the chosen ones, I should say. Yeah, 5 photos I've had published. So that being said, if you haven't ever checked out Equine Wellness magazine, and no, I am not sponsored, mind you, I just am so grateful to them for, taking a chance on me and using my photography. I just want to support them back. So yeah, they're pretty near and dear to my heart. You can check them out. I also created merch for equestrians and horse lovers. If you look behind me, this is my website, chelsealiz.com, where you can place an order. But yeah, I wanted to create something for horse addicts and that I would wear. And so yeah, I kind of came up with these designs, and I have to say, I love them. I'm wearing my own heart horse design right now. So you can even get 20% off if you go to chelsealiz.com and use the code YouTube at checkout. Okay, so moving on to today's video, it's all about growth. Yes, we'll be reacting to my first photos when I had no idea what I was doing, but it goes to show you that all you have to do is take the first step, and every time that you fail to accomplish your goal, you're really just learning how to do it better and learning what not to do. And I can see a lot of that when I look back on my images. For the longest time when I grew up, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't give a whole lot of thought to my future. I was in survival mode, and it wasn't until I got out on my own that I realized I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what I could be. I didn't know I could go and become something. As sad as that is, that was the reality of the situation. So I had to kind of think back on my life and what were constants, things that were always there no matter what the situation was, no matter where I was in life, no matter what was going on. And it was pretty easy to see that horses and art were the constants, the things that have always been in my life and have always made me happy. So I kind of started to dive into that a little bit through these manipulations like you see here. The tree, the horse, it didn't originally look like that. I added the spots, I added the rainbow, and yeah, that was what I did. I even added the mane and tail very horribly. I didn't really know anything about lighting actually in this. I guess that's supposed to be shadows. I also watermarked this like someone would steal it. I always kind of had this ethereal vibe. Even when I didn't exactly know how to show it, I've always, loved whimsical things, ethereal things, anything, magic, la la la, all that jazz. But here is the perfect example, and I didn't want to dive too much into the photo manipulations, but I wanted to show you how far I came from 2012 to 2017. The photo on the bottom is probably the best manipulation I've ever done, and probably my most proudest. The one on the top, it looks like a chicken. There are no words for this photo. It just looks all wrong. It doesn't match the body, the mane. It just, there's no shadows, there's no highlights. It's just, it is what it is. So now we'll move on to photography. It all started because I got a horse. Her name was Gypsy. Yes, I even had a tongue ring back then. I don't anymore. But when I got her, I was like on cloud 9. And I was obsessed with taking pictures of her. And me and my best friend Anna would go to the barn and we'd ride and take pictures. And we thought like we were taking like great photographs. This was probably like 2010. Yeah. That was my idea of like a good photograph. I didn't know that I wanted to become a photographer. I think I was working as a dog groomer during this time. And I thought that was the best picture ever. I took this photo. I think it was actually a cell phone photo. And I thought, oh my God, this is the best picture ever. I'm like, I am so good at taking photos. This photo here that I took of my old horse, Valita, I ended up doing that. I was so proud of this. I'm like, this is like me. Like, dreamy vibes. This is so cool. I watermarked the crap out of it. I'm like, I'm onto something here. I think I'm onto something. Then I decided to take a picture of a hoof print in the snow. Not my best work. I don't really know what I was trying to accomplish here, but kudos to me for taking pictures of something other than a horse. I didn't really have any like storytelling capabilities in my photography yet. I didn't even know about the light. I took this photo and then this was the best picture I ever took in my life. I'm like, this is great. I am such a horse photographer. Like, go me. Okay. Well, there's about a billion things wrong with this. Not to mention I didn't even get rid of the background. Not to mention like I gave no thoughts to lighting. Like I was on auto mode. I mean, it's a good picture of my old horse Sky, but it's nothing compared to what I do now. Look, this is the perfect example. Okay, so when I was going through photos, I saw this and I'm like, why did I take this picture? Why? Look at the shadow. Look at it's so bad. Like, what the heck was I even thinking? What was going through my head? I don't know, but I never used that picture for anything. And surprisingly, it still did not teach me anything about lighting. Like, I didn't look at this and go, I need to work on lighting. Nope, I just continued to take pictures, hoping my horse would do a cool thing that I could capture on camera. Pretty Appaloosa, let's take its picture. Never mind that there's like a post coming, you know, straight for its head, and there's horses back there, and the lighting looks like crap, and he's at a really weird angle. But then I took this picture, and I'm like, okay, now I'm really a photographer. This is it. This picture is so good. It's a good picture. You know, now if I look back at it, I would have edited like the fence out, done something, you know, dodging and burning. I really just, when I took pictures, took them out of the camera, and that was it. I didn't really edit them, which is kind of weird since I first started editing, like before I even did photography, but whatever. I was doing my thing. I was happy. I took this picture. I loved this picture. I freaking love this picture. And I actually edited this photo later on, a few years down the road, when I got better and kind of knew what the heck I was doing. But here's some more photos that I thought were amazing. Horse poop, hay bale, fence. It's cute, but it's fine. I then started combining my photography with my editing, and you get this. It was Sky's birthday. He actually has pink mane, you can see. And yeah, I'm a great photographer. Let's do portraits now of great horse nose and me. Like, the lighting is just, I can sometimes take good photos. This is great. That's a great action shot. I started paying more attention to the lighting. started editing more. This photo was actually taken during the day and I turned it into nighttime somehow. I don't even remember how. Watched a tutorial. I was so proud of this photo here. I love fjords, and I was lucky enough to train one, and this is Willie. He was amazing, and I also did his mane. He actually had a full long mane, and I trimmed it, and I was so proud of it. I really wish I had a better camera during this time because motion blur. Like, I tried everything to fix this photo, and I sharpened the crap out of it, and it's still bleh. And the fence in the background, it had so much potential. If only I had the skills that I have now back then. Here's that photo again that I was talking about. I still didn't really edit the major parts of the fence out. You can still see the fence when I took the posts out. I did nothing with that. I added snow, and this is when I learned all about color. Another picture of Willie where, like, look, I blurred this to try and make him stand out better, and I didn't even do it right here in the tail. Ugh. Here's a picture of Costa. He has been my muse. Like, when I got him, things like started to click, like between, you know, my expectations of what my photography should look like and like editing. Except I really needed to tone down the color. I started editing everything with funky colors. I was like, this is so great. It makes the photo look so much better. I was thinking, you know, just sticking some cool background or color grade or preset or whatever on top of the photo. I thought that made it look better. Not actually taking a better quality photo and taking time to plan out, you know, what I was going to do for the shoot. I just crossed my fingers, prayed, and took a bunch of shots hoping I'd get a good one. But I started editing a lot more. Oh, God. I think this was a cell phone picture. Actually, I don't. I think this was actually a camera picture. He kind of looks like a statue. Like, I dig the vibe. It's just not my favorite anymore. It's not something I'm, like, super proud of. But this is what I mean when I say, ooh, I discovered color. I was obsessed with silhouettes for a while. I was pretty proud of these. Watermarked everything. Started to experiment a little more in design. Thought this was the coolest thing ever. Was super proud. Super, super over the top extra. Really over the top. Then I discovered Instagram and I'm like, oh, love these filters. I was so proud of this edit. It was one of my favorite things I ever did. The lighting in it, once I saw the lighting in this, I'm like, this is what I'm going for. Like, this is what I need to do more consistently. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. But I did start to understand lighting a little bit more. It was a journey for me, like shadows, highlights, like I knew nothing about that despite drawing a lot. I always struggled and never took the time to really educate myself on it. So when I was practicing manipulations, I started to kind of understand it a little more, like golden hour. Yeah. And while I got better at the time I would shoot, I still didn't really edit out the uglies. This was a super cute photo of a horse, Gabe, that I loved, except I did not edit out the little hay on him. I didn't touch up his body. Like, I really just put a filter on and I'm like, this is great. I'm a photographer. Then I took this portrait after I got my new lens, my 200mm f2.8 Canon lens. And I'm like, damn, I love this. This is life. And then I took this picture and I'm like, this is such a great picture. Forgetting everything I knew about lighting, apparently, because look how bright this is. It's just, I did no correction in terms of adjusting highlights or shadows. Like, I just pretty much played with clarity and sharpness, because a lot of my photos had a bunch of motion blur in them, especially when I started shooting manual. I struggled with trying to get sharp, in focus photos. I also started taking pictures of birds, and I was really proud of these bird pictures. I remember being like, yeah, they're awesome. And I took this photo, and you could see all the ice. It was during an ice storm on the railroad tracks. And I actually wish I still had the raw of this image, because I would love to play with it now and not put that like insane vignette around it and, you know, pop out the trees more, show more of the details. But alas, I lost the raw to this image a few years back, and this is what I'm left with, this overly edited, you know, super duper intense vignette. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Double exposures. I was all about double exposures. I was so freaking proud of this. It's still cool. It's still cool. But granted, I could probably do a better one now. Maybe, possibly. This is when I started taking portraits of other people and their horses. I went a little overkill on the face. Like, I blurred that till there was nothing left to blur. I just thought like blurring meant good. These colors, like, they're so intense. Like, so oversaturated here. I really didn't know about color either, I guess. It seems like it's not the worst photo, it's not the best photo. Like, if I took this now and showed this, I would be cringe-worthy. This photo here, oh my god, over processed to the max. I wanted to create that like whimsical vibe so badly. There are no words for how horrible this is. Pretty much all the color work I did during this period of time was over processed. Like, I did not even understand that as being bad. I thought this looked good. I really did. I actually got paid for this. But this was more of what I wanted to go for. I would take some good photos, some bad photos. Like, I didn't have like a consistency. It was either good or bad. I didn't overprocess this, and it was decent. Not the best, not the worst. I took this photo inside a barn arena, and I was so proud. I loved the highlights. I loved like the dark moodiness, and that's kind of when I discovered how much I love like moody vibes as well. I really didn't want someone to steal this photo. Let's put the watermark super close to the horse. Like, people can't just crop that out. First of all, it's not even good enough to steal. Like, the motion blur, I mean, it's okay. It's not great. It's fine. Beautiful horse. Pretty average. I love this photo. I love this photo. I love this photo. I love this photo so much. I re-edited it this year. I just love the way Rosie looks in this photo. Just enjoying the sun. But I still didn't know what I was doing. Look at all these like super bright, blown out highlights. Didn't realize I could fix that. You know, like with Lightroom or Photoshop. And I took this, and I mean, I do have good photos from this session, but I don't know why I thought the tree coming out of the head and like her halfway in the sun, and like I was trying to get them in the shade. I knew that shadows were bad, and we were shooting during, you know, right before the sun came down, when it's like super on you and intense hard light. And yeah, so then I just started shoving her under trees, and it really didn't work very well. Point in case about the shadows. I tried so hard to get rid of the shadows. Super oversaturated again. The light is just terrible. But I, was really working on perfecting my black background photos. So when I took this photo, I was like, all right. It's not a total loss. Like, I'm okay at this. I'm not a total disaster. And I took some more photos. I got this amazing session where that really pumped my confidence. I, took a bunch of photos at this barn, and it was just one of the best days of my life. And I met some really cool people that I'm still friends with, actually. And yeah, I'm so thankful because even though I didn't know what I was doing editing wise, super crazy, I toned it down. I toned it down a notch with the color. I was not over processing everything anymore. This was one of my most favorite photos from that day. More black backgrounds with my new watermark, apparently. I went through a lot of watermarks, a lot of logos. I thought this photo was so good. I took a picture of him when my friend was out of town because I wanted to surprise her, and he's so blurry. It is not sharp at all. Really, I mean, this was like a photo I was proud of. Looking back, there's this color cast on him that I don't really like. I guess I didn't want to edit out the halter. I should have done that. Would have looked better. I love this photo. And when I got the coloring on this, when I color graded it and it got that moody, I was like, yes. I loved this photo. I think it was actually a cell phone picture. And I took pictures of Costa for Christmas, and it was not the best. He's not very sharp. Apparently I was focusing on the wreath and not his face. And the background was actually black, but I added all this bokeh because I was obsessed with bokeh. And I'm like, if I can't create it in camera, I'll just, take a stock photo and put it in myself. Yeah. But every now and then I get a really good portrait photo. That captured horse's emotions, or I don't know, that have more human characteristics, I guess. And I would love it. And I took these snow pictures when it was just, oh my god, the most perfect winter day, fresh snow was falling, that is not photoshopped. This photo, I was like, this is so cool. But it is cool because it actually frames her face. I just punched my microphone, sorry. But it actually frames her face, and I actually still like this photo. I took this, and this was the best photo I ever took on my horse. I still love it. I wish it was better. I actually caught this by chance. He reared up when I was trying to have him lunged in the snow, and yeah, it was just a quick, oh my god, this was the only photo I got of it, and I've lost all the raw images now, so I can never go back and re-edit it. But thankfully, I like the way that it turned out. Oh my gosh, Costa has always been my muse. I know I said it before, but if you just took all the pictures of my horse and lined them up, you would see so much progress. Because I always take pictures of him. He's my favorite thing to take pictures of, and he is so photogenic. Just shows emotion. It kind of feels like you're telling a story. I tell you that I've got better at telling stories through my photos because they actually kind of make you think of what's going on in the situation. It's okay. Not my best. Still wanted to show you that even when I would get really good shots, I would still sometimes do everything I could to kind of fix the not so good photos that I love. The ones that had all the potential had they been shot right the first time at the right settings or exposure. And yeah, I really loved the way the tree framed this horse, and it's not terrible. I was really trying to go for more of that whimsical, dreamy vibe again. And I got Sully, and she is also my muse. I took this photo. For the longest time, I wanted to take a photo of Appaloosa in the snow. I always want to take a picture of a leopard Appaloosa in the snow. I Can check that off my bucket list. She is so cute. I was so proud of this. I love all the blue. I love the brown. Like the contrasting colors in this. I was like, ooh, this is so good. Moody vibes. Good, good, good. Black and white, like film, kind of cinematic-ish. More storytelling. I love this photo. Another one I got published. Kind of doing a little more whimsical edit with the clouds and the dust. Just having fun experimenting. I feel like I experiment the most, again, with Costa, because here's another dreamy, ethereal vibe. I love the colors. I love, like, everything about this photo. I didn't do anything to the background. It was just shot like that. It turned out so good. He was also going like 500 miles an hour. Love this photo, even though he could have been a little bit more sharper. This one was so good. I was really experimenting with the whole orange and teal, and I wanted to take a picture of his reflection. Hindsight, probably wouldn't have taken it in direct sun, but I did. More like orange and teal, blue and brown. Love the colors in this. I love the colors in this, even though it's not my normal style. More personality. A little bit over, like, done. Kind of super clarity sharpened, but I actually edited this exact photo 3 different ways and had people tell me which they preferred. Another photo manipulation. This one was from 2020. Speaks volumes of the stuff that I showed you in the beginning. Wild horses in Missouri. Yes, there are wild horses in Missouri, and I was able to kind of document that my whole like time down there, you know, taking photos of these horses. It was a really cool experience. Yeah, I love these photos, even though it was dark and rainy and there was a lot of noise in the photos, because I mean, my camera was struggling. It was like almost pitch black out, and I somehow saved these photos between how dark it was, the fog, the rain. These turned out amazing. And then I did these photos for my friend Olivia this year. She is so freaking gorgeous and so amazing. And this was her horse Keely, and I mean, look at the difference. Holy smokes. Look at the lighting on her body. Look at like my dodging and burning. I put everything together, the color, everything. Like, I get it all. I understand. Like, these are all from 2020. That's just, you know, goes to show that I never stop experimenting. But yeah, I don't just limit myself to horses. I, you know, take people portraits now. I love going to this little place called Lone Elk Park by me because they have elk. And I saw these cute little family of raccoons that I was lucky enough to get a shot before they kind of skittered away. And this is the photo I showed you earlier that I re-edited for 2020, which looks completely different when you take out the fence and tone down the insane highlights that were completely blown out. There's still little spots that are blown out, but it's not, you know, terrible. It's you can deal with it. I even took a picture on my way home from North Carolina because I saw this old car and it was very like moody, and I love the mountains, and it just turned out really cute. And this is like a very recent photo from a couple weeks ago of my new dog Pepper, and it's completely different than what I was doing in the beginning when I first started. So that goes to show you that you shouldn't give up, and, you know, look back, see the progress, recognize the failures, and how they teach you to be better and teach you what you need to improve on. Anyone can get better as long as you keep practicing and don't give up. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. I really appreciate you hanging out with me, looking at these photos, seeing the progress, and I hope you can find some progress of your own and, keep working at it. If you have any questions or need help, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'll get back to you. I'll always reply. And yeah, like, share, subscribe if you like these videos and want to see more. I am going to be doing a new thing for Instagram that I thought of a couple days ago, and I am telling you this to hold myself accountable, to make sure I don't slack. But I've always kind of loved surrealism, hence those photo manipulations I showed you in the beginning, and I kind of always wanted to think of a way to do it with Costa and I, aside from just standard self-portraits of him and I, riding or walking or standing. I wanted to kind of create this like surreal world that we go through. So I am in the process now of finishing some images for this new Instagram. So here's a little preview. This is the first picture I've actually done. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? It's actually a photo that I took a while back when I was doing more self-portraits of Costa and I never really quite liked this photo for whatever reason, and I actually ended up coming back to it and trying to play with it again. So this is what I came up with. I don't know, I've always loved those brain goldfish. I really wanted to play with like depth. I really wanted to kind of show you more of the world inside my head. And so yeah, Costa and I will be going on these adventures and seeing all these crazy things, and that's what the Instagram is going to be about. So if that's, interesting to you, make sure you follow my Instagram at Chelsea Liz Photo, and I'll be sure to post a link and share more stuff once I get it going. I want to create a couple images so I don't have to, play catch up. I hope you guys stay tuned, and please be safe, be careful, wear a mask, take care of each other, and be kind. Take care, guys. Bye.